More broadly, India and the United States can partner in Asia. Today, the United States is once again playing a leadership role in Asia, strengthening old alliances. Deepening relationships, as we are doing with China. And we're re-engaging with regional organizations like ASEAN and joining the East Asia Summit. Organizations in which India is also a partner. Like your neighbors in Southeast Asia, we want India not only to look east. We want India to engage east because it will increase the security and prosperity of all our nations. As two global leaders, the United States and India can partner for global security. Especially as India serves on the Security Council over the next 2 years. Indeed, the just and sustainable international order that America seeks. Includes a United Nations that is efficient, effective, credible, and legitimate. That is why I can say today, in the years ahead, I look forward to a reformed United Nations Security Council that includes India as a permanent member. Now, let me suggest that with increased power comes increased responsibility. The United Nations exists to fulfill its founding ideals of preserving peace and security. Promoting global cooperation, and advancing human rights. These are the responsibilities of all nations, but especially those that seek to lead in the 21st century. And so we look forward to working with India and other nations that aspire to security. Council membership to ensure that the Security Council is effective, that resolutions are implemented. that sanctions are enforced, that we strengthen the international norms which recognize the rights and responsibilities of all nations and all individuals. This includes our responsibility to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. Since I took office, the United States has reduced the role of nuclear weapons in our national security strategy. And we've agreed with Russia to reduce our own arsenals. We have put preventing nuclear proliferation and nuclear terrorism at the top of our nuclear agenda. And we have strengthened the cornerstone of the global non-proliferation regime. Which is the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Together, the United States and India can pursue our goal of securing the world's vulnerable nuclear materials. We can make it clear that even as every nation has the right to peaceful nuclear energy, every nation must also meet its international obligations, and that includes the Islamic Republic of Iran. And together, we can pursue a vision that Indian leaders have. Espoused since independence a world without nuclear weapons. And this leads me to the final area where our countries can partner. Strengthening the foundations of democratic governance, not only at home but abroad. In the United States, my administration has worked to make government more open and transparent and accountable to people. Here in India, you're harnessing technologies to do the same. As I saw yesterday at an expo in Mumbai, your landmark Right to Information Act is empowering citizens with the ability to get the services to which they're entitled and to hold officials accountable. Voters can get information about candidates by text message. And you're delivering education and healthcare services to rural communities. As I saw yesterday when I joined an e-panchayat with villagers in Rajasthan. Now, in a new collaboration on open government, our two countries are going to share our experience. Identify what works, and develop the next generation of tools to empower citizens. And in another example of how American and Indian partnership can address global challenges. We're going to share these innovations with civil society groups and countries around the world. We're going to show that democracy, more than any other form of government, delivers for the common man and woman. Likewise, when Indians vote, the whole world watches. Thousands of political parties, hundreds of thousands of polling centers. Millions of candidates and poll workers and 700 million voters. There's nothing like it on the planet. There is so much that countries transitioning to democracy could learn from India's experience. So much expertise that India can share with the world. And that, too, is what is possible when the world's largest democracy embraces its role as a global leader. As the world's two largest democracies, we must never forget that the price of our own freedom is standing up for the freedom of others. Indians know this, for it is the story of your nation. Before he ever began his struggle for Indian independence, Gandhi stood up for the rights of Indians in South Africa. just as others, including the United States, supported Indian independence. India championed the self-determination of peoples from Africa to Asia as they, too, broke free from colonialism. And along with the United States. You've been a leader in supporting democratic development and civil society groups around the world. And this, too, is part of India's greatness. Now, we all understand every country will follow its own path. No one nation has a monopoly on wisdom, and no nation should ever try to impose its values on another. But when peaceful democratic movements are suppressed as they have been in Burma, for example, then the democracies of the world cannot remain silent. For it is unacceptable to gun down peaceful protesters and incarcerate political prisoners decade after decade. It is unacceptable to hold the aspirations of an entire people hostage to the greed and paranoia of bankrupt regimes. It is unacceptable to steal elections, as the regime in Burma has done again for all the world to see. Faced with such gross violations of human rights, it is the responsibility of the international community, especially leaders like the United States and India, to condemn it. And if I can be frank, in international fora, India has often shied away from some of these issues. But speaking up for those who cannot do so for themselves is not interfering in the affairs of other countries. It's not violating the rights of sovereign nations. It is staying true to our democratic principles. It is giving meaning to the human rights that we say are universal. And it sustains the progress that in Asia and around the world has helped turn dictatorships into democracies and ultimately increased our security in the world. So promoting shared prosperity, preserving peace and security. Strengthening democratic governance and human rights, these are the responsibilities of leadership. And as global partners, this is the leadership that the United States and India can offer in the 21st century. Ultimately, though, this cannot be a relationship only between presidents and prime ministers. Or in the halls of this parliament. Ultimately, this must be a partnership between our peoples. So I want to conclude by speaking directly to the people of India who are watching today. In your lives, you have overcome odds that might have overwhelmed a lesser country. In just decades, you have achieved progress and development that took other nations centuries. You are now assuming your rightful place as a leader among nations. Your parents and grandparents imagined this. Your children and grandchildren will look back on this. But only this generation of Indians can seize the possibilities of the moment. As you carry on with the hard work ahead, I want every Indian citizen to know. The United States of America will not simply be cheering you on from the sidelines. We will be right there with you, shoulder to shoulder. Because we believe in the promise of India. We believe that the future is what we make it. We believe that no matter who you are or where you come from, every person can fulfill their God-given potential, just as a Dalit like Dr. Ambedkar could lift himself up and pen the words of the Constitution that protects the rights of all Indians. We believe that no matter where you live, whether a village in Punjab or the bylanes of Chandni Chowk, an old section of Kolkata or a new high-rise in Bangalore, every person deserves the same chance to live in security and dignity. To get an education, to find work, to give their children a better future. And we believe that when countries and cultures put aside old habits and attitudes that keep people apart, when we recognize our common humanity, then we can begin to fulfill these aspirations that we share. It's a simple lesson contained in that collection of stories. Which has guided Indians for centuries, the Panchtantra. And it's the spirit of the inscription seen by all who enter this great hall. That one is mine and the other a stranger is the concept of little minds. But to the large-hearted, the world itself is their family. This is the story of India, this is the story of America, that despite their differences, people can see themselves in one another, and work together and succeed together as one proud nation. And it can be the spirit of partnership between our nations that even as we honor the histories which in different times kept us apart, even as we preserve what makes us unique in a globalized world, we can recognize how much we can achieve together.